Right. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, brilliant. So basically, on the screen, start. If you look at it, this particular unit is what we are looking at starting. Unit that you can see.
Okay.
Okay, which is researching tourism and hospitality management.
Okay.
Now, opened on the left-hand side here is based on this particular specification of the unit, which is Unit 6, Researching Hospitality, Tourism and Hospitality Management, which is given here.
Okay.
Now, in this particular unit, what we're looking at doing is, as you can see, the assessment guidance is, covering some of these tasks.
Okay.
Now, what it is asking you to do in general is you have to visualize 2 or 3 things. Now, email. Basically, what we are looking at doing is to better understand, the hospitality industry. I'll magnify this so that you're able to read it also. What we want to be able to do is, in this unit, pick up an area of research, which is an area of interest for you in the particular sector. So within the tourism and hospitality sector, you can look at things like, you have airline industry, for example, tourism, which is to look at holiday destinations. You have something which is to do with the fact that there are ancillary services which are provided in tourism, like when you go and book a holiday, you might also book a holiday to go to a theme park. You might go to do a adventure or a safari. Or if you travel to Middle East, you might go on a kind of a desert safari, kind of a what do you call excursion. So here in the research project, what you have to do is you have to pick up an area of interest, and in that area of interest, what you have to do is you have to basically look at doing research in a way wherein that will give you more knowledge and give you more information about that particular sector.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there is a presentation which is there, which I'm just going to open. Give me 1 second. And that will give you the context of, how the research has to be done. So the email that I've sent you is basically talking about how the research is conducted.
Okay.
And as you can see, before I get to the presentation, just giving you the overview here. As you can see, basically in the assignment brief, it says identify the aims and objective of your research first. So in my case, example would be that as an example, you research say for example, educational tourism in the UK. Okay, so what are the main aims and objective of this particular research? Your aims and objective would be you're looking at studying the education market in the UK. In the higher education market, in specific in the market, you're looking at studying higher education market. And when you look at studying the higher education markets, your aim and objectives of the research would be impact of Brexit on higher education tourism in the UK. So that will become your objective. Now, as you know, anything that we do research on, we are looking at picking up an area or a topic wherein we then will go into the details and depths of it to understand what are the factors which affect that, how the industry works, what are the various ways in which the industry or the sector derives the revenue. So if we look at this particular topic of impact of Brexit in higher education in the UK, then you will look at other objectives like, has the tightening of immigration policy affected international students coming to universities in the UK? That could be one objective. The second could be, how is the government going to put a tab on the number of students coming under Tier 4 visa to study in universities in the UK? Third objective could be, has this led to a drop in revenue in terms of university making revenue from international students coming for studies in the UK? So your research is primarily higher education. Aims and objective in that would be to study the impact of Brexit, Britain coming out of European Union, and the visas becoming stricter from the government from a point of view of students to come here and study. So this in particular will fall under something called qualification tourism. There are other areas that you look at. There is health tourism. A lot of people go for small cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery treatments to other countries. Cost is more cheaper, and the cost aftercare in terms of patient care is cheaper as compared to the UK. So that is called health tourism. So what we are looking at primarily doing in this particular unit would be to pick up an area of research of interest, which you are going to research and study in detail. And in that, when you study in detail, you will define the aims and objectives of the study. You will also do a background analysis and in-depth review, which is called the literature review, as you can see here. You will do a literature review, which means gather data from existing studies which are published in the domain. Say, for example, you will study some journals, you will study some books, which give you information about, the changes in higher education. So you will study maybe articles on Guardian from independent, various research agencies which have produced, articles which show the impact of Brexit. And that particular study, to create a background about the research and to understand ins and out, is nothing but literature review. Okay, and then when you do research is of different types. There is called quantitative research. There is research called qualitative research. Sometimes research is called, there is research, and that is what I've explained in this email to give you some idea.
Okay,
right?
I'll read.
So
I'll read the
this,
email.
So this third task talks about, explain positivism and constructivism approach to research. Now, these approaches are basically nothing but when you do a research, you do research and you create a research design. That means I'm going to do research through the route of questionnaires. Am I going to do the research through the route of taking interviews with people? Am I going to study and collect data from existing studies? So these are all different types of research methodology that you have to learn at level 6. And the whole idea in the project is this task 3 is nothing but research design methodology.
Okay.
I've explained here. So you're advised to structure your form of research paradigm or philosophy. And there are two philosophies of research. One is interpretism and the other is positivism. And I'll explain this in a bit more detail. So the approach, purpose, study, strategy has to be looked at. And then what they are saying is explain and justify the research method. You want to choose, say, deductive approach or one whose primary collection of data, which is by questionnaires. You have to explain in the chapter, you have to explain in the assignment of that why this is more suitable for the area of study that you are doing. Okay. And then the research report, which is this particular task 1 that you will do, has to be around 3,000 words. So that means your aim and objective, the rationale of the project, the literature review, and the research methodology have to be around 3,000 words.
Okay.
And then what you have to do is you have to do the second part of the assignment in this unit, which is talking about tasks like how do you undertake the research? You have to present your data and analysis and findings. So once you have collected sample data, have you seen that sometimes when you go to ASDA or Tesco, you will see a lot of private agencies are asking you to fill up into quiz, or they will put you in the lucky draw and things like that. Have you seen that?
Yes, I seen. I have seen.
So that is something that you can relate to. Is a process wherein the agency which is working on behalf of the organization is actually trying to collect data. And that data is being collected in the form of either some sort of sampling, or it is being done in the form of some sort of questionnaire that they are asking you to fill in, or a survey. And later on, these responses are analyzed to come to some sort of a conclusion. Okay. And I'll show you an example as well. So basically, task 2 will be to look at how you've collected the data. That data has to be analyzed and then presented in appropriate form in terms of charts and graphs and figures to conclude the outcome of your research or your study that you've done.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this particular task 2 then will consist of about a 9,000, up to about 9,000 word report. So the whole assignment that you will do will basically be task 1 is about 3,000 words and task 2 is about 6,000, will be about 9,000 words in total.
Okay. 9,000 words.
Okay, 9,000 words, yeah. So in this, basically what I've done is this particular bit in terms of how the report structure has to be, what I've done is in the email that you see now, I have basically listed out these 6 chapters and these headings.
Okay.
So what is an abstract? An abstract is the summary of the research paper. An example, go to say W.H. Smith and you buy a book. The first thing that you do is you want to look at the book in terms of what the book talks about. So what you do is you invert the book and you look at the back page of the book, back cover.
Yes.
That kind of always has the summary of what the book has, isn't it? Or
Yes,
if
it
you
is.
compare the index, for example, there is some preface in the chapters of the books that you look at. And that preface actually talks about it summarizes the whole content of the book in a way. So let me show you, say, for example, a definition of how students would, submit. So just to look at, say, this particular student, this particular student has basically chosen to do research on impact of social media marketing on brand image of Coca-Cola. Okay, so this is basically the research title.
Okay.
Now the research title, first thing that we have to develop is we have to develop something called a research proposal, which is basically an introduction into the topic, why you want to look at social media, and what is the impact of social media's, social media messaging on your Coca-Cola. So basically, you start with an introduction to the research. You give background on this of the research that Coca-Cola has been chosen because it is a very reputed brand in the food and beverage industry, and it's a known name globally. They, as a brand, use social media like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, these kind of platforms to be able to engage with their audience.
Okay.
And then this impact of social media marketing on the brand of Coca-Cola. So you are slowly and gradually explaining in the first chapter, which is introduction, that what are the reasons and what are the aims and objectives of you studying this particular research or doing this particular study.
Okay.
And then slowly and gradually what you do is you formulate your research aim and objectives. This talking about the current research and the impact of social media marketing on brand image of Coca-Cola. For carrying out this study, the following objectives are defined. To investigate the use of social media. So first and foremost, the student is looking at finding out how is social media used by Coca-Cola.
Okay.
What impact does it have on the brand image of Coca-Cola? And then towards the end, he's going to provide recommendations of, because the study will actually bring out some results, will bring out some findings. So towards the end of the, towards the end of this particular study, what you're looking at doing is you're going to be presenting a few recommendations which will further enhance and enable the use of social media campaign effectively for Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Okay, and then formulate something called a research question. So your main area of study, which is research question. Impact of social media marketing. Does it have an impact? Does it lead to more sales? Does it lead to consumers trusting the Coca-Cola as a brand? Does it lead to a following wherein given a choice between Pepsi and Coca-Cola, the customer will choose Coca-Cola only? Does Twitter advertising Facebook advertising, advertising on YouTube, actually create a connect with the consumer. So these are the areas which the student is actually looking at in this particular topic of marketing. Okay. So this particular bit here in terms of your assignment, if you see on the left hand side, the ones I'm shading,
the chapters.
Yes, have to it. So if you look at how it has been presented, it starts with the the topic of research. Then there is table of content. Then after the table of content, he's done the introduction, background and rationale, which is mentioned here. Background and rationale. And then he goes to do something called in-depth study about the topic, which is culture review.
Okay.
Culture review, he will study the independent variable, which is called social media marketing, because a lot of companies do marketing. It is not just Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola has chosen social media marketing, but Pepsi can also do it. Iron Brew can also do it. Other brands can also do social media. So that is why it is an independent variable. That means social media marketing is used as a tool by a lot of companies, even telecom companies, Vodafone, EE and all them. That is why it is an independent variable. That means this particular topic is independent of the research that you're doing, because all companies and everywhere this is used. And then you define something called a dependent variable. Dependent variable is that within this study, what is the variable or the area of study you are going to do. So in this particular study, brand image of Coca-Cola, this is the area that you are going to research and come out with findings on.
Okay.
You see the connect?
Yes.
So it is like saying, if you have to develop and formulate a research topic, you have to have something called a dependent variable and an independent variable. And this is something which I've defined here for you in the email.
Okay.
And why this is important. Okay. So independent variable is an area where subject matter being studied is independent of your area of research. That means it has no basis. It is widely used by other companies and organizations as well. And dependent variable is the direct area that you are going to research in this study, which is brand image of Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
This is something that you have to look at when you basically, formulate a research title.
Okay, then this is the whole 2 tasks. So I have to do it. Okay?
Yeah, whole task. Yes, that is correct. So this particular email kind of summarizes the total chapter in giving you this unit.
Okay.
So what I've done is
first time I have to research about some topic, and second task is I have to show the research report that I research about the any topic. So I have to give the report, second task. Yeah.
That is correct. Yes. So how will you work about that? You will first of all research proposal in which you will define a topic of interest that you have to do in travel and tourism. And then once you are happy with the topic, you will send it to me. I will also look at it and I will ask you some questions to see if this is the right topic that you want to research on.
Okay.
And when you send that to me, I will approve the research topic. And then what you will do is you will start building that topic into introduction, background, aims, objective, and rationale of research.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
and in the email, I have given you pointers to all independent things that you have to do one by one.
Okay.
So why is the background important? The background actually informs the reader of the situation and the context that you. Okay.
Okay.
Why is introduction required? Introduction is required because under this research project that you do, you will actually clearly define a background. You will define a research problem that you are investigating, and it will have a clear set of objective research questions. That Okay, what is the problem? Say, let's look at literally, come out and look at literally. There is a massive problem of traffic jam on M25 every day in the morning and evening hours, rush hours. What is the research problem? The traffic jam on M25 during the,
during the hours, during the
peak hours.
Yeah.
Peak hours. Now, if you know this is the research problem, now what you will do is, what is the background to this research? The background to this research is that over the years, the number of vehicle registrations on the road is increasing. So a lot of people have now the affordability to buy cars and everybody prefers to drive. And then the second reason could be, the background could be that as the infrastructure has improved and the roads and the networks have improved, people love driving now. The third could be that the office hours in terms of opening times and closing times are such that everybody has to go in the mornings to the office, and in the afternoon or late evenings they have to come back from the office to their home. So that is why you have that rush hour.
Okay.
So that gives you the clear background on the study. Now, after this, what you do is you define a set of objectives and why you want to research this. So why you want to research is, your research is looking at coming out with solutions of how this traffic jam could be reduced during the peak hours on M25.
Okay.
And the questions that you will research on would be how to, say, for example, how to reduce this traffic jam. So one of the suggestions or objectives that you will research under the question would be that because of the traffic jam, it leads to high pollution, between peak hours. So your research question is that you're looking at the effect of traffic jam and pollution that it creates from vehicles on the health of the individuals traveling at that point in time. Do you see this? Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
So that is where you have to look at now a topic within the hospitality and tourism industry. Now, you're not bound to have that particular topic. As the assignment brief says, there is no scenario in this. You must conduct an independent research to investigate an area of your interest within the hospitality and tourism context. But you can also choose any other subject in the industry like HR, marketing, sustainability, globalization, etc.
Okay.
So assuming if you have good knowledge about the hospitality and tourism industry, you can choose a topic in that. If not, then maybe a topic which is an area of interest for you in terms of, HR, marketing, or, globalization, anything.
Okay.
And this is what you'll have to do, is basically then start to create a draft which will look like maybe a research project. So this is the literature review the student has done. Then the research methodology comes in, wherein you define paradigm. So what is interpretist paradigm? It refers to the process of research which focuses on understanding phenomena through interpretation of social actors in their natural surroundings. So this means that if you try and do an interpret, if you break this word down, interpret, if you break it down, there are two words in this. There is interpretation. That means what you will do is you'll pick up topics which are already there in the published domain, and you will interpret that study to understand the objectives of your research.
Okay.
Right? So there are two types of research paradigms. There is interpretivist and there is positivist. So this positivist carries out research on the basis of quantitative methods. Quantitative method is, you will collect some data. First, what you will do is you will study the existing research material which is available in the market on that topic. Once you've studied the material, then what you will do is you will essentially look at doing your own primary research, and you will collect data through the questionnaires, interviews, and amalgamate both of them together to come to a conclusion.
Okay. So
correct?
So I have to do the primary research, first.
It will be primary or secondary research, but I think in most cases it's easy to look at primary research.
Okay.
Because in secondary research you are going to do a lot of reading. Okay. So research The chapter in methodology and design covers your design, research, strategy, and then collection and analysis. And then towards your results of the research that you've done by graphs and things like, does it affect the brand, does it not affect the brand, things like, and then you will discuss your results, and then you'll make some recommendations of what your study has come out as a result. What your study is, what results have come out from your study.
Okay, this kind of consequence, what exactly?
That is correct. Yes. And then things that you've looked at, and then lastly you will attach a questionnaire towards the end for the research.
All right.
Okay. So this is an example of how here in this email, what I've done is I've summarized to get you started, given you a brief of your research chapter. Okay, explain to you is primarily going to be covered to a certain extent in this presentation. Market research starting from slide 16.
Okay.
So marketing research is a process that identifies basically the opportunities or problems that you're going to be looking at, so that it gives you defined actions and you get some findings out of it.
Okay.
Now,
good.
Research project, how the research is in here, which I've summarized and I've detailed it out in the email to you.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, for today, what I would suggest you need to do is look at from slide 16 of this presentation, which is present here.
Okay. 16.
Right?
Okay.
And go to my email, which I've sent you with regards to how research is done and what are the things involved in research.
So
okay.
I will read these things, then I will give you. I will send you what topic I choose. Okay.
Okay.
I will let you know that. So I need a little bit time to just read it. That you send me. Also the PowerPoint about the marketing.
That is correct. Yes. So my suggestion to you will be go through the email which I've sent you, which outlines how the research is to be done. Second, we need to look at understanding the slides 16 to 30 to understand how research is done, why is it carried out in the travel and tourism industry. And a third bit which I would recommend you to look at will be the specification of this particular unit to familiarize yourself with the assignment brief.
Okay, I will do it.
Okay, any questions, then you just through the forum or send me an email.
Yeah, of course, I will read it. Then if I have any confusion, I will send you an email. Then we can talk about next week, hopefully.
There are two modules which will run parallelly. One is strategic marketing for tourism and hospitality and management, and the other one will be unit 6, which is a research. Now in research, I will let you carry on with it so that at some stage you are able to do up the research at your end, and then I will keep updating and keep looking through it so that you are on course to be able to finish this unit, because this particular unit on research requires about between 6 to 10 weeks to complete.
6 to 10 weeks. Okay.
6 to 10 weeks, and this is more or less independent study. So I can give you the starting points of what to look at, how research is done, and after that you have to start looking at picking up an area of interest, the topic, and then start to look at what area you want to do research on.
Okay.
And then you will develop this into some sort of a mini dissertation, as we call it, because it's a 9,000 word assignment as against the others.
Big.
Yeah, it's quite big. So it is quite a big unit in the sense that the work that you have to produce is about 9,000 words, circa 9,000 words. So you have to have time at hand to be able to pick up a topic and then start research, and then slowly and gradually start developing the 5 or 6 chapters.
Okay. All right. Okay. May I ask you about next week? because
Go through with me on. Yeah, go ahead.
About next week, Monday, because Monday I have a driving appointment. Okay, so I have to go after I think around 10. I have to leave home. So before 10, I am free. Okay, so how we can do it next week? That's I will
See,
get it confused.
I will catch you at the regular time of 9:30 on Mondays that we have fixed up. In any case.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I will catch up with you, and then the second session that we have to do, you tell me the 2 days which are convenient, and then I'm going to slot this in.
Okay. Okay.
In terms of research.
And one more question I have about the second payment. When will I have to pay? I mean, October or is it November? I couldn't remember.
October is already gone, I think, because when did you make the last payment?
Last month, October, I did.
You remember the date?
I think it's
approximate date.
I think it's around 15 or 14, something like that. I think. Maybe I'm not.
So that's fine. So I think the date around which you'll make is around 15 in that case.
I mean, so next payment when will be around, so I can make sure I have enough money in my account.
Give me 1 second. Let me just have a quick look.
Please.
I'm just opening up the accounts. One second. So you made the first payment to us on 11th of October.
Oh, 11th of October. Sorry.
So your due payment will be due around the 15th of November.
Oh, November. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you then.
Okay. No worries. So what I will do is I will send you, a few examples of, sample. I will essentially share with you a sample extract of a research project which a student has done last year.
Okay.
Like I've shown you right now.
Yeah.
You have an idea in terms of how you can start developing this particular unit.
Okay.
Okay, because in this unit, the main thing is that we do not have, I can only deliver the theoretical aspects. And after that, what you have to do is you have to then look at, developing the topic and everything. And I'll keep approving things as you move along.
Okay, no problem.
And on the research methodology and also, on the major concepts, I will upload an ebook here after the discussion now, which is basically going to give you into how to do a literature review and how to look at development methodology.
Okay. Cool.
Okay?
Yes.
No problem. And then if you let me know what is the availability next week for you, 2 days, then Monday we are doing the class as usual, which is already fixed, but the other day will depend on the day that you have off.
Okay. I will let you know before the day. So if we have time, so we can do the class.
That is fine, no problem.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, good stuff. Shall I do next week?
Okay, then next week. See you.